Last week, DJI came out with two new drones, the Lito X1 and the Lito 1. I already posted my review on the Lito X1, which is a little bit more premium with a few more features. So if you want to take a look at that, it's already live on my channel. But today we are taking a closer look at the Lito 1, which is pretty much the basic entry-level drone that DJI is relying on to kind of hook new pilots to flying a drone. So today I'm here to check whether we can create some cinematic shots with the Lito 1, as it's lacking some of the features that I personally find a must-have, like D-Lock M and flat color profile in general, a little bit more flexibility for shooting your footage and color grading it later. So I'm really curious to see if I don't really tweak the footage that much, whether that could be still something that you can call cinematic. Now, one thing I'm also doing, as you can see, I'm on the beach and it's 10 a.m. That's also something that the majority of new people, when they get into flying, they do. They start flying randomly at all hours of the day, which obviously is not ideal if you're looking for the best lighting possible. Right now the light is a little bit harsh, so that's also an interesting way to check whether the Lito 1 would perform well in this lighting situation. So I'm really curious for that. Hopefully you are as well. Let's check it out. First things first, we are going old school. We're using the DJI RC N3 and a phone. This is a setup that I haven't used in ages, so now I'm curious to see how my experience will be. And I would like to start with setting up my settings first, because obviously right now they haven't been tweaked at all. So I will start by making sure that my white balance is locked. Now it says 5000, but I believe this is a little bit too cold, so I will increase it to 5300 or 400. Then resolution and frame rate, I will use 4K 30 frames per second. I don't need 60 frames per second in this specific scenario. And then when it comes to ISO and shutter, one thing that I will do is, it seems I've already done that. I set my EV to -0.3, and the ISO I will set to 100. It is a very bright day with a lot of sun, so obviously I don't want to have an ISO more than 100. The shutter I will obviously leave to auto, as I don't have any ND filters, and for this drone in particular I don't really think they're needed, to be fair. Now, some other things, when it comes to manual obstacle avoidance, I will set it to brake. I don't want to set it to bypass because we don't know what we're going to encounter. Max altitude and everything else is set to the absolute maximum. Auto RTH altitude 100 meters, that's also another important setting that we need to make sure it's selected. When it comes to control, everything seems fine. Gain and expo tuning, now that's one thing that I won't touch, because DJI drones come pre-tuned very well, I would say. Straight out of the box they fly amazingly well. We have our custom buttons, they are fine like they are. When it comes to the camera settings, color normal, we don't have any options here. Coding format as well, format MP4. I don't want video subtitles. And I will just set my grid lines, as I've already set them actually. It seems like after activating the drone I've set them up. I forgot about this. So I want my grid lines like this X and this center point. I want that. Frame guide off. White balance, we've already selected 5400. Style, that's an important thing that we need to tweak. Sharpness -2, absolute must setting to tweak to -2. Noise reduction, again, -2. We don't really need noise reduction right now, but for future use, make sure you select those as they are right now, because that makes a big difference to your footage and kind of allows you a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more tweaking if that's something that you're into. And transmission and about, we don't need to touch anything there. So now we're ready and we can actually begin flying. Let me just quickly set the drone to cine mode, set it to a low altitude, and just do a little bit of a sweeping shot around the rocks as they look great. And then slowly raise our altitude while we pass these rocks right here with the waves. I think it looks great. So right off the bat, in the first minute or so, we already have a cool looking shot. Now, obviously I will need to set this back to normal. Let's check out the way the waves are crashing into those rocks. Let's just go a little bit higher. Look down and just position this a little bit so we can capture some of the water and the rocks. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So let's just go up. And one thing I need to be careful with is the birds here. They're a little bit aggressive, so I need to be careful with them. And the footage looks a little bit overexposed as it is right now. So let me just stop recording, go here and set it to minus 0.7. This will make a big difference in the waves, especially the white part of the waves. When they crash, they won't be as overexposed as they were. So now we can actually see it looks a little bit better. I believe this makes a big difference. And if you're shooting in auto, this is a lifesaver. Let's turn on sport mode. Just do a quick little shot with the boat before we move to a next area. So far, what I'm seeing on the screen looks great, and actually I will keep this drone in sport mode while I'm kind of orbiting around this boat. This happened way too quickly, so now just set it back to normal and then do a semi-orbit once again. Yeah, I'm behind the rocks, so transmission is not ideal. But that shot actually looks great. Oh, I messed it up. But that's what happens when you're flying live. So if you want to get good at capturing cinematic footage, you definitely need a little bit more precision and a little bit more training. And I don't want to kind of complain, but I haven't used the RC entry in ages, and definitely works a little bit more differently as opposed to the RC2, for example, or the RC2 Pro. Apologies, my phone stopped recording the screen, so I had to land, clear out some storage, and then I started flying again. I changed the battery real quick, so just so I can have a little bit more. Now, one thing I noticed is now the EV, which I've set to minus 0.7, is a little bit too dark, so I'll set it back to 0.3, minus 0.3. And now, as you can see, we have this Poseidon statue here, which I will select. Hopefully, oh, it sees it as a boat. Really? It's not a boat though. Let's see if point of interest and this position here, this direction, let's see if it will result in some smooth, good-looking footage. I'm not too sure, as the position kind of wiggles and changes a bit, so I'm not too sure if now it's solid. Yeah, that's one little tip if you're doing subject lost. What? Oh, okay. Maybe not ideal in this situation. It kind of lost it. It went back. It found it. Now it's still doing the little circle around it, so it hasn't stopped. But yeah, with this movement of the camera is kind of sketchy. So maybe not the best subject to track in terms of contrast. Maybe it's losing the object because of the color, as it's resembling the color of the water. not too happy with this tracking, to be fair. So I'll just set it to stop. Let's see if we do it once again. Now let's go a little bit closer. Hopefully we'll have enough contrast to kind of separate it from the water. And let's keep it at spotlight. Let's just do a little circle ourselves, because that's one thing many beginners will do. They will use those features like spotlight, active track, point of interest. They will probably not fly manually too much, or at least for those a little bit more tricky shots, they would probably rely on the built-in features that the Lito one has to offer. So far looks good. So this actually did the job. And I love this thing here, this pier, where we have some benches where you can sit and observe, but it's getting hotter and hotter, so it's harder for you to stay more than 10 minutes. But one thing I love is how the water splashes here on the rocks, and that's something that I definitely want to capture. When it's a little bit more wavy and we have a little bit more strong current, we can see here some super hard splashes, which I really like. And even now, it looks great. And to be fair, what I'm seeing on the screen, obviously I haven't seen it on the computer yet, but what I'm seeing on the screen looks great. We're still flying a little bit low, 11 meters of altitude with the waves. This beach club that we have here, which for now is still empty, but soon it will start to get some traction. This is actually a really cool shot. And the cross is a little bit overexposed together with the white building behind. Now that's something that you need to play with. If you're using a drone like this, you will get similar results. You will get many of those shots that are overexposed. Let's just go and look down, because this thing looks really nice. You see, now the water and the rocks look great, but the cross is super overexposed. So that's something that you need to be aware of. And for this situation, maybe it would have been better to keep the EV at minus 0.7 once again. Let's do a little pullback with some altitude in the shot. We can kind of reveal a little bit more from this area. And yeah, from afar, it looks great. The colors are amazing with the ships in the background. Take a look at that. I would just go around 110 meters of altitude before I stop. But that's great. That's a great looking shot right here. So I definitely think the Lito One can do the job just fine. If you're just starting out, if you're looking for the best beginner drone out there to get you started, make you aware what flying a drone feels like with those automated features, with the camera quality, which I believe is great. Now, of course, there are some things to be desired, and there are some tweaks that you need to do. You kind of still need to know what you're doing in terms of how you're flying and how you're filming, because sometimes, as we saw, the footage gets too blown out, too overexposed. Sometimes it's too dark, depending on how you've set up everything. But if you set it to auto, you might encounter those situations where something that is white on your screen will be too white and too bright. So keep that in mind. But for the price that the Lito One is priced at, I believe this is a fantastic drone, and anyone looking to start flying a drone in 2026 would be happy to have this as their first drone. I remember having my first drone, which was the Phantom 3 Standard, and it was nothing like this. The range was so bad. The colors were so bad. Everything was just miles worse compared to what we have now. So we're lucky to live in this era where everything, even the beginner camera drones and the beginner tech, is still a fantastic tech. So pretty good option if you're just starting out. If you're looking for your first drone, I will link it down below. The Lito One is a great option. highly recommend it. If you're looking for something a little bit more advanced with a little bit more features, with some more flexibility that you won't outgrow straight away, the Lito X1 is the one for you. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching this one. And also watch the Lito X1 video if you want to be aware of what the drone that is a little bit better than this can do, because it's also a very interesting one. Thank you so much once again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.